This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Hey there, it's Brian Sebastian, movie reviews and more, live around the world on Talk4 Media, TV, radio, podcasting, K4HD, radio and podcasting, and streaming live on Worldwide TV Network, when I'm on TV.tv, and iTube 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee. And yes, I am back in North Carolina, out of all places. I'm never in one place longer than 3 weeks unless I'm at Rachel Roberts' house in Houston, Texas, overstaying my slave for 5 weeks, but that's a whole nother story. And yes, I'll come back, Rachel, this year sometime. But we got to start off with this because I've been waiting for this show for a long time. Obviously, Howard Wiggins in Nashville, Tennessee. Always glad to see him. And he's in room number 405 in his mansion. He'll talk about that later and what hat he's wearing, what clothes he's wearing. Nonstop Terry Marie from Redondo Beach, California, with over 3 million views and counting. Tosh, vocally Tosh, is sick. She's got a sore throat. She just talked to me, so we'll have to talk about her later. And the one and only from Houston, Texas, the one and only stay-at-home mom, Rachel Roberts Recipes. And I can't wait to see what she has tonight, because who knows what she made while she sent the photo in. But the great thing about this, I've been talking to this young lady for a little while, Nancy Potter, from Hashmark Publishing. She's got a book out. I can't wait to read this, and this should be very, very interesting. I didn't know she spoke French or even Dutch. Who knew? Didn't even know that she lived overseas for a year. She didn't even tell me she worked at the White House and on Capitol Hill. What was wrong with you, Nancy? But there's 3 things about this. She's got a great story to tell, and I can't wait to see this book. And she's going to talk about that later. And what is it called? If I'm correct, Barbell's Cut. Is that right, Nancy?
Barber's Cut.
See, I was close. See, I do all of this off the top of my head. I don't use notes. So this is going to be a hard one because this kid, I can't call him a kid anymore. He's still got that youthful spirit. But he's a chairman. He's a CEO. Let's see, of the Easy Way Network, which reaches millions on our phones and on our TV sets. No, literally, he does. Yeah, and the whole thing about this, about Eric. Eric does a lot of great things. And I didn't even want to mention his name yet, but the whole thing I have to. All right, so here's the thing. He's also a trailblazer. He's a mogul. He's an author. He's an actor. He's a producer. He does a lot of things. He's won a lot of awards. He's been on a lot of magazines that we'll talk about later. I'm talking about this stuff so he doesn't come off like it's bragging. But he has the right to brag. It is movie reviews and more. It's all about telling what's going on. And when you can be that award-winning social media influencer, and yes, Rachel, Howard, Terry, he did create the word influencer. He created that, and he gets credit for that. And people don't know that. That's why he's laughing, because it is true. So when you can be that top 10 social media influencer and multimedia person in the world, that says something. So not only with that, let's see, what else does he have? Okay, he's the host of Easy Way Talk Live. He's got the Easy Way Interactive app. He's got the Easy Way Wall of Fame, which I love. I love putting our stuff on that because it comes out really great. And if I remember correctly, let's see. It's almost got close to or right over 800,000 views a month. And I believe 8.6 million total visitors, if that's correct. And if I'm wrong, he's going to correct me. But here's the thing. I'm glad to call him my friend. We had a nice talk for almost an hour today. Anytime we talk to him, I think it's always a heart-to-heart. He's a friend of Terry's. Terry's known him for a couple years, too. Our one and only Eric Zuley. See, that's a long intro, but it has to be said because of all the things that he has done. And Eric and I talk a long time about things. And the reason why I have to set all that stuff up is because I've watched him work over the years. And it's because of Eric, and I have to always give credit, and we were on the tour in Tennessee on this. He's the reason that Edie Han is my Southern mom. It comes from Eric. So, Eric, I'm going to let you take it away. And Nancy, we're coming back to you.
Thank you, Brian. I really appreciate it, man. We go way back, don't we? All the way back in the Hollywood film days, and we met at the Gifting Suite, Celebrity Connected, and it's just been so much fun. But I'm just trying to do God's work, man. I just say we're uniting the light, and I'm doing everything I can to be that concierge connector, and I'm just honored to be on your show.
And the thing about this, I definitely wanted, because Nancy was, her book was supposed to debut it was pushed back because of things that she's got going on. But I've had fun talking with her, and it's one of these things. I wanted her to meet Eric. I thought it was very, very important. I wanted Rachel to really get to know the Eric that I know behind the scenes, not what you see popping up in the chats and on social media, because he and I do have a special relationship. And Terry was there with us when we last saw him in 2019. It's been that long, Terry.
Wow, I can't believe it.
Yeah, it was at the Golden Gala, gold carpet. Let's put that right, gold carpet, and it was a really fun event. And he had everybody there. So I have to say, he's one of those few people around the world that does know everybody, and people do come to him. And yes, we all have haters one way or another because they get jealous of our success or the stuff that we're doing. And they don't understand the hard work that Rachel puts in, the hard work that Terry puts in, the stuff that I know Howard's done. Because Howard's got some stuff. And Howard, you're going to be on our panel, I decided today when we go back to Tennessee. So, Eric, talk about your thing, and I want to go into Nancy, because I want Nancy to know a little bit about Mr. Zuley and all the stuff that he's created.
Well, thanks, Brian. I mean, I'm a fan of all the hosts you got on here, man. I mean, you're a leader. I watch Rachel's the little machine she's got on her arm and how she's doing her fit and her fit thing. And Howard, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Terry, pleasure to reconnect.
Good to see you again.
Nancy, I'm looking forward to getting to know you. I mean, hey, just go to easywaywalloffame.com and go to this man's profile and support him. I mean, you're one of our tops, Brian. I mean, I think you and Matt and like two other people are going head to head. I think you're like 27,000 views, and it's just awesome to watch what you're posting and just the other 67.
I'm not going to let anybody beat me. I'm telling you that right now. No one, he's always going to be number one, but I'm going to be either second. I don't want anybody to beat me. I put that on record.
Every day, man, you're posting. We just really appreciate the support, and we have a TV station as well and a magazine, and we actually are building a new podcast system as well. So if anybody's doing podcasting, we're working on a full-fledged one-stop shop solution to get you advertisers, get you bigger and better guests, get you more traffic, and basically be able to manage the actual behind the scenes of what goes into a podcast, actually manage your subscribers and keep consistent with your audience, keep your audience coming back. We've been working for the last 10 years on a real interesting platform we'll be releasing soon for podcasters, and just been in the easy way cave, man, just building. I know what's happening in the future, so I'm getting ready for it.
Cool. That's awesome.
Man, I didn't know you were doing all that. That's awesome. That's very cool.
Thank you, Rachel.
Well, the thing about that is there's a lot that goes on. I mean, and I always tell Eric, I don't want to be on the long chats or texts or things like that. I like it when he and I get a chance to talk because it's like our moments when we're talking about stuff. And I really do protect his back. And like I said, I will ever be in his debt for introducing us to Edie Han, my Southern mom now. And Howard's known her for years, but it's one of those things. It's because of Easy that Eric, that I met Edie, and we went to Tennessee, and again, Terry came with me, Victoria came with me, Katarina came, and then now we like to always bring people back there. It's because of Eric that happened, and I just never forget this. It's when Edie said, Brian, you need to come to Tennessee, and I'm like, why? What can I do to help them? I mean, they're all established there. I didn't know what she was talking about, but it was more like what Eric does as far as connecting people and putting things together. He and I do the same thing. We just do it different ways, but we want to get to the same thing. For him, it's about faith, family, and connecting those people. It's me. I'd rather, if I didn't have to have my face shown, I'd be happy with that. It's all about showing everybody else because I want to see them shine. And he literally does the same thing. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have Nancy here when we have a new author with a book coming out, where Eric knows all these people, whether it's the Tony Robbins or all these other people he's got coming on with them. I saw him actually bring them to what he's doing, That is not easy. You can't get a lot of these people. They don't just go to anybody. So, Eric, you get a chance to talk about that more than Nancy would come to you, because I want to know how you ended up in the White House.
Oh, you want to know now why I ended up in the White House? That's an interesting place to start, Brian.
Well, hold that thought, because I want to let Eric finish his thing and then want to come to you.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about books, Nancy, I'd love for you to check out my book. I have a best-selling book, a lot of copies sold. Yeah, it's called The Influence Effect, and I co-authored it. My contributing authors were like Sharon Lecter and James Dentley and the creator of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, Frank Shankwitz, and all these people I've come across. And the book is really how you create your own influence effect. And every chapter is the influencers that I deal with and them telling their story and how we met, how we ended up turning relationships into relationship equity. And we've gotten a lot of amazing comments and reviews and things of people saying, I love your book. I love your book. And now we're going on our second book and we're going on our third. So we're working on the book.
That's wonderful.
Nancy, talk about why you are doing this, but talk about how you ended up in the White House and working on Capitol Hill, because I didn't know that. I need to know these things.
You're really stuck on that, aren't you, Brian?
I am.
Yes.
Well, in college, I was studying and working in political circles, and I really was fascinated by politics and the way it worked. And I really wasn't that sure because when I was in college, I was in New Orleans, which was a wonderful place to go to college. And so I was able to get an internship as soon as I graduated from college for my congressman in DC, Bob Livingston. And I went up there for my internship and ended up being asked to stay to work there. So I worked as a staff assistant. And then when Ronald Reagan got in the White House, I had an interview with the Office of Communications. And so I went in there and was one of the few people who hadn't worked on the campaign and was able to get a job in the Office of Communications. Right outside our window, we were in the EOB, which is right across the little alleyway from the White House, was where all the cameramen used to set up outside the front of the White House on the right side. And we could sit at the window and watch them all doing their thing. It was kind of interesting.
Talk about this a little bit. Talk about what this book is about and why it's interesting, because you're coming to Tennessee and meeting us the first week of May. Why is this book interesting and people should look at this?
Well, my great-grandfather came from very, very humble beginnings. He lived on a flatboat with his parents, which basically they traded in rags and bones, and was not a very nice way to grow up. It was very poor. And he had one of those intellects. His grandfather had gone to college in Dublin. And so he was able to kind of parlay that into making my great-grandfather interested in books and reading. And so at an early age, he became interested in learning. And that interest never died. So he decided at an early age that wasn't how he was going to spend his life, that he was going to have a grand life and that no one was going to stop him and nothing was going to stop him. And he managed to go from that living to being one of the wealthiest men in the South. And that's the story about how he was able to do that.
So, Howard, think about this. There's so much rich history in the South that a lot of people don't get a chance to talk about. Eric's not met you yet, but I wanted you to meet Eric just like Rachel this way. I wanted it to be done this way because you have so many things that you've done that you're so fascinating. So, Eric, think about this.
Yeah, thank you.
He's got a 9-second clip that we took of him dancing. When I last counted, it was like 164,000 views and still counting. I do not know why it's doing that, but it's still stuck in that algorithm. Every day I get 2 to 3 comments of, he looks like Sean Connery, or he looks like John Voight, or go man go. These are the comments that he get. This is the stuff that Eric really likes to pay attention with. But Howard, give Eric an idea where you come from, why you grew up in Brentwood in Nashville, Tennessee, and who your family is.
Well, I'm Howard Wiggins, son of Little Rory Wiggins, who played steel guitar with Eddie Arnold, one of the main steel guitar players in the Hall of Fame. And my stepfather was Charlie Mosley, who actually raised Brenda Lee with Rocking Around the Christmas Tree at the Christmas Party Hop. So lived life, and I've known their country famous person and some people that aren't country famous all my life. I was one of the world's top 35 leading interior designers before I retired and became an actor, quote model, quote podcast host with Ryan. So, anything else?
And Eric, with that, he is an actor too. So Eric will tell you about the stuff that he's doing. But before that, all right, Terry, tell Eric what you've been doing and tell Nancy what you've been doing.
What have I been doing? I just been training very hard for fitness stuff because I would like to get back on stage for that. And then I've just been working on some NFT artwork for a project that I'm working on. It's called Nonstop Conspiracy Farm, which is based on, it's little animal characters that are based on different conspiracies. So it's kind of a fun little project. And I did a couple of music videos with Wicked Kid Star. Got to play the lead role in those 2 videos. I've been back on the red carpet with Brian, doing celebrity interviews. We just did an Oscar party. So I'm very excited to be back, on the red carpet, because that's where we met, Eric, was at Celebrity Connected, doing our thing. So I just love doing that.
And you finally get a chance to talk to her, guess what, Nancy, from Houston, Texas, Rachel Roberts Recipes.
How did that happen?
She'll tell you.
After she's done posing as a statue.
Okay, so Rachel Roberts from Houston, Texas. Mm-hmm. I have a morning show, Coffee Talk, and you can see me on any of the social media platforms in the morning, discussing coffee and sometimes what I'm cooking, sometimes what what's going on with the kids, whatever. Anyway, also working on my own cooking show. Jimmy Allen Science is going to be back here in a few days from Nashville, so looking forward to shooting some more episodes on that. And then every week I come on, I cook something, and my whole thing is eat clean so you can drink a little dirty. So this week I'm doing all these barbecue sauces, but I do everything, all my barbecue sauces. I'm doing like the Kansas City barbecue sauce, which is that sweeter sauce. I have the Carolina mustard sauce, and I've got the Alabama white, but everything is sugar free. Everything, you wouldn't know it. The sauces are delicious. And then I've, done my ribs, and I've got brisket. I made my own keto bread. Terry, you dig it. It's made with egg whites.
Wow.
Here we go.
That looks good.
That was really good.
Yeah, that's a low carb bread. You can see the yellow. That's the Carolina mustard sauce with fresh jalapenos, and that's rib. So this is the bread that I made today. Take a little flag out so it doesn't. But isn't that beautiful?
It looks so good.
And then the cabbage, that's a purple cabbage slaw, and I used the Alabama white dressing on the slaw. Oh, it's so good. So anyway, that's what's happening. Lots of fun stuff.
I didn't realize Alabama had white sauce. Is that what makes its barbecue different?
You know what? The Alabama white is a mayonnaise based, and so you mix like mayo, and you put your apple cider vinegar, some kind of sweetener. But I don't use, when I do sweetener, I use monk fruit or like an alternative because I don't do sugar. Yeah, that's how you stay young when you're 50.
I'm working on it.
You do your coffee talk, Rachel. I do my wake up the easy way. So we both do wake up lives. And I got to tell you, you got a very unique personality. How you change your voice and you actually keep the interest. So props.
Thank you.
And if Eric says that, Rachel, that's a great thing because he's always paying attention to different people around the world.
I don't know. How do you pay attention to all the people that you've got, right? So I will take that as a compliment that you even noticed me.
Well, we own a TV network, and just like Disney and a lot of platforms, what creates and makes a network successful is the unique talents and influencers that have followers. And so that's one of the things that I do pretty much every day is I'm always kind of like searching and looking for that next star on the wall of fame, that next star for Easy Way TV. And in fact, I have a couple of my fans on here. I see a chat. Hey, how you doing, Tiberius? We have a kid that he's like 12 or 13 years old. He's one of the shows on our network. And this kid's like the next little Larry King. Him and his dad have a show on there called the DeBerria Show. It's so cool. And I'm so glad to see them that they're watching. So the comment.
That's
Eric, talk
incredible.
about this.
Cool.
Talk about what you do with the average person, of people that you see that might not get a chance to tell the story. Someone like an author, a new author that comes in, and there's the Thrive Show. Congrats, Eric. That's what it's all about. So, one of the things that Eric does do, when he and I were talking, and I love talking to him, and it's one of the things, I don't like to call him all the time, and I know he doesn't always have time to call me, but when we talk, we have our intimate talks. And I really do enjoy that. It's not necessarily about what we're doing, but it's more about what's cooking up, what's coming down the pipeline, and who can we help next, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And we don't talk about this stuff outside our little circle. We just kind of do it. That's our relationship.
Brian, I got to tell you, I love our spiritual conversations. I love the fact that we are just friends, and we can kind of forget about the spotlight and the red carpet sometimes, and really, like you said, that you were spiritually there for my birthday, and you remembered when my birthday is. I mean, that's the stuff that really counts and matters. And that's one of the reasons we called our brand the Easy Way Family, because we're really building a family more than a big community.
Nancy, so what little you've heard about Eric right now, and Rachel and Howard and Terry, what are you thinking right now?
Well, what I'm thinking is that there's endless possibilities, and that when you have a really good product like I have in my book, that it can take you anywhere. Look at all these people and all that they've done, and I'm situated for that to happen. I'm ready for that to happen. I'm expecting that to happen.
Wait until
Nancy,
you start.
We're neighbors, Nancy.
I live in Sugar Land.
Yeah. I'm Bissonnette in 59.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Funny, right? Yeah, Sugar Land is down the street.
Wait until you see, Nancy, wait until you see a platform we're working on that's kind of like a bestsellers list, like New York Times bestseller and the big Amazon bestsellers list.
Yes.
We have a platform, and probably a couple hundred major entrepreneurs that are big time book authors, like Mark Victor Hansen with Chicken Soup for Your Soul, and like the major people that are established in books. And they're one of our members. They're in the platform, but we're working on designing a done for you system for authors specifically. We're working on specific events to be able to enhance the influence effect, enhance your followers, and really get you more book sales from being on a stage. But it's really the follow-up through the social network that we're designing. And it's all done for you once you sign up. And
that sounds wonderful, because that's a really hard thing. First of all, do you want to get a publisher nowadays, a big publisher? I really didn't, because I want to own everything that I've created. It took half my life to create it. I'm not really willing to give it away to anybody. Yeah. And I plan on it being a mini series, and I'm already writing the second book. And so it's a thing, right? It's a thing. Oh, aren't you sweet to clap?
I love to read. And I don't like authors that just put out one book, because I get into the author and then I just want to read. And then I get friends with the authors, and then I'm sending them messages, put out another book.
Oh, you're cute. Well, you're going to love my book. It really is a great story. And of all the things I probably don't do well, I really am a good writer.
Good. I can't wait.
So you have to all read it, and the characters are real, and they're deep, and there's spirituality in it. There's manifesting in it. There's his whole philosophy of how he's going to do this, and how he manages to be a good person. He doesn't rise to wealth on the backs of others, and he helps everyone along the way. He has this symbiosis, this win-win situation where someone who has no money and needs something, a crane to lift a sugar cane. Well, he lets him have the crane, and then gets him to take his sugar cane on his boat. Anyway, he works with these kind of things all the time, and so he rises with glory. It's wonderful.
I'll be honest, Nancy, I'm like the exact opposite of you. and Rachel. I do not like to read. I probably should read more.
Oh, you should.
But and I didn't write my book. I'm going to be completely honest here on the show. I did not write my book.
You're not the only one. Not the
What
only
I
one.
did was I went on Zoom for many sessions and gave my brainstorming and my creativity and what I was trying to portray, what I was trying to make happen. And really, I wanted to make a book that helped everybody else. That, you know, I knew I was going to be able to promote this book to hundreds of thousands of people. I knew what I would be able to do with like digital tours and everything. So I wanted to get our members the chance to be on the spotlight. And really, it was about the event and the after effect after the book. And that was a lot of fun. But I am not a writer in any way. I'm going to go on and use software, and I'm going to talk into my phone, and that's how it's going to write.
Eric, that's how I am too. I'm using a ghostwriter as we're speaking every Wednesday. The half of it is we don't have time to do it. Yeah. That's really what it is. We got so much other stuff that we're doing behind the scenes. Let me ask you this, Eric. What little you heard from Howard, you've met Terry, you've met Robert, Rachel, and now you're hearing a little bit of Nancy. I want to know what's going in your mind, where they would end up, what platforms, if they were to go on Easy Way TV or the Wall of Fame or anything. What are you seeing? Because I'm looking at your head.
Well, I can totally see, like, we have a blogging system, and we have about 820,000 visitors per month on the platform, close to 6,700 members that are willing to go on and share. And so when you blog a story or anything that you're wanting to promote, and you know how to do keyword blogging, and you properly link people to their profiles, and you can make something go viral, and you can get all those 6,700 people, preferably, and all the followers that they have to start getting involved in a project, I can really see something amazing happen. You know, I've seen the power of blogging, and we've been really focused with our platform to not only blog, but get everybody involved in the community to go share that blog. So it goes from 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 to 50 to hundreds of thousands of potential people.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So happy to blog you. Create your account. I'm happy to support whatever you're doing with your book and all of you guys.
Thank you.
So Howard, you're like this. He was a dancer before. He was a bebop dancer. He could still do it if he had to.
Absolutely. I actually, when you said the dance thing, Brian, I wanted to jump in. I love dancing. When I started out dancing, I actually taught dance at Bally's. I danced at Magic Mountain. I danced at SeaWorld. I was a hip hop break dancer. I did the head spins and the coin drops and the windmills and all that stuff. Wow. And I still do the ticking pop lock and stuff. And I just love doing it. And actually, what I do now when I do go on stage, because I speak a lot. I speak a whole lot. But I don't speak like the normal people. I call myself a speaker-tainer, because you'll see me gliding on stage and maybe doing a little breakdancing move here and there, and then like going into the audience, and like I can't stand just like a boring presentable speech. So I'm like half entertainer, half. You know, in fact, if you look at my sizzle, and I could show it if the engineer lets me. In my sizzle, I'm gliding like Usher, and I'm doing a lot of dance moves while I'm speaking, and you can see the crowd going nuts. So I love to dance. That's one of my.
I don't know what a sizzle is.
It's a reel. It's a video that presents what you do. So like it's like an introduction video before you do something. That's one of the things my company does, video branding.
I need one.
We'll talk. I mean, if I can show, if I could, I mean, I would love to be able to show my sizzle if I'm able to. Brian, would I be able to show my sizzle?
DJ, what do you think?
Host it, DJ.
Are you guys seeing my screen?
I can see a screen.
Okay, perfect. So this is my introduction sizzle, and inside of it, you'll actually see some of my dancing and stuff.
Media mogul, brand authority, visibility expert who knows how to create an influence effect around individuals and their businesses. Mr. Zuley owns Easy Way Network, a media network powering their own radio, magazine, and TV network housing 10 channels, airing 30 shows with a potential reach of 320 million homes and mobile phones. He has been able to work affiliate marketing deals with over 120 affiliates, TV distribution deals with over 200 channels. He owns his own channel with over 18 sub-channels on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. He has over 500 events under his belt as a producer and host. He has hosted his own show, The Easy Show, and Easy Talk Live. He started out with one YouTube channel, which today has over 13,500,000 views and 8,000 subscribers. He is the creator of the globally known brand with thousands of celebrity and business influencer endorsements. As an authority in California, he has been given the Robert Novak Award, signed off and endorsed by Congressman Brad Sherman and Congresswoman Judy Chu. Eric was one of the first people to start using his cell phone as a producer's tool to create content, which he uploaded to his YouTube channel, What You Need TV, with close to 14 million viewers and hundreds of A-list celebrities. Eric has produced over 450 success events and raised millions for charity nonprofits.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys could hear that or not. I hope you could. But
No, they came through quite clear, which was great. So talk about this. I always say that YouTube is the way to go. I'm not a TikToker. I would say I'm a YouTuber. Eric, why do you like YouTube and the platforms that you're doing so the audience knows?
Well, to be honest, Brian, that's a really great question. I mean, I give a lot of thanks and appreciation to YouTube because it was really the platform that built me from the ground up from day one. I always tell people when I speak about how to build yourself from one microphone, and I was on the carpet and I would interview people. I still remember my little my self-made microphone flag that I had, big old cardboard microphone flag when I first started. And YouTube is the best way to get out there on the search engines. It's actually Google. Google owns YouTube, and it gives you the ability to saturate and actually, if you know how to do keywording with embedding like your videos on blogging, it's very powerful. And that's what I really use it for. But we're now moving over to our own platform. We have our own TV station with millions of viewers on Roku and all that stuff. And so we use YouTube for the embedded situations and for the Google presence and things like that. But then we are really moving the traffic over to our own TV station. And plus, I really appreciate Sergey Brin, the founder of Google, who I've been very blessed to be around, and people like that. So I'm a fan of digital platforms that create look at it. YouTube, Google, these platforms literally have changed lives and have given people the ability to make money at their house and to be able to build a business and stuff. And I'm trying to, follow in the footsteps, and I'm doing my own little thing in the way that they do it. But YouTube, plus the other thing is, would you guys agree? If you want to learn anything, I mean, I don't tell my girlfriend this at all, but whenever I'm washing clothes or I got to do something and she asked me to fix something in a car, I'm hiding, going around behind the tree. I'm going on YouTube. I'm going, oh, how do I fix this? YouTube can teach you anything.
So true.
So true. Hey, Terry, talk about this. When we were on the gold carpet, wasn't that a great event? I wanted to go see what it was like, and it was just fun sitting there with me, you, and Katerina at the time, and Eric. It was sold out. Eric did a really great job, and then I'm sure you got a lot of credit for all this stuff. But we can't never stop talking about those things because it's how you put on the proper event. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was really cool too because everybody got to wear gold. I got to wear a gold dress, and we got to see a lot of our friends. I mean, Lauren Powers, who has her own brand. Works with Eric, and she is the one who got me started competing in fitness. And I actually did a pilot with her with fitness. It didn't take off, but we did do a pilot and worked very hard on it on fitness. But Lauren's written a book, and so there was a lot of people that we worked with in the industry that we've seen on the red carpet. It was fun. So you're going to be doing another one now?
Celebrity Connected, man. That takes me so far back, and it was different, and that's how we met, Brian. That's how. So
exactly, and
literally have microphones in their hand, announcing like DJs, and these celebrities would just be coming in by the dozens, and you see all of these. My favorite part was the gifts. Woo, boy! Yes. I still got boxes filled in my garage. And they're really cool gifts, but it's at the same time. Yeah. Well, me and Brian will always exchange sponsors with all the gifts that you get. But that's the thing is if you want to get sponsors for your podcast, I mean, what's the number one thing that everybody wants when they do an event or a podcast or whatever? They want to make money. They want to find the sponsors. So when you go to these gifting suites, you meet these company owners, and these are owners of product and companies that want to break into the West Coast. They want to be advertised. They're looking for podcasts. And so I wanted to be the middle person. I want to be the master connector between podcasts and guests, stages, and speakers. And like, when somebody's looking for that solution, I want to be that concierge to help them out.
I'm looking for that all the time. Yeah, definitely, Eric. I want to talk to you more about that.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I when I had Easy Talk Live, I worked with Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. My show was on KDOC, KXLA, and all public access television. A lot of people don't know this, and Brian, you remember with Actors Entertainment and the mansion in Hollywood and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I was making $12,000 to $15,000 on these episodes because every time you saw a logo, it was a paid for spot. It was a paid for position. Awesome. And I actually teach a boot camp on how to monetize the microphone, how to monetize your media. And there's a certain thing that sponsors look for. They look for 3 specific things. Consistency, that's a big one. They look for, does it hit their market? Is it their target market? You got to really know how they think. You got to get in their quarterly budgets because there's a list and there's a whole bunch of stuff. And if you have an audience like Brian does, man, you can get. I don't
like Eric does.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Brian, but I don't think I've paid for a product for the last 10 years.
Me either. I joke about this with Rachel. I'm a diva when it comes to that. Nope.
You just say, hey, what's your email? And just let them look at the email, and then they come back to you. Well, what would you like, sir? Here's the selection.
What do you need? That's what Brian always asks me. What do you need, Rachel?
Exactly. Talk about this because there are actors here. There's Terry, there's Howard, there's Rachel. I am not. You couldn't pay me to act. I'm not interested in that. But I am interested in helping friends on those things. So now that you are that producer, talk about how do you help those people and those people who have those books to create their books to turn it into a TV show, documentary, or possibly movie.
Okay, well, and that question is directed to me, right? I don't want. Okay, so as far as acting, producing, writing, sound, anything in entertainment, the number one thing that I'm going to suggest is 3 or 4 little letters. IMDb, okay, Internet Movie Database. Because bottom line is, if you have a strong presence, when someone Googles you, they research you, and you check out with that research, IMDb is the number one platform that validates you. And the more credits you have on IMDb, the more carpets you're going to get on, the more jobs you're going to possibly get, et cetera, et cetera. The second thing is you have to be a true influencer, not someone that buys followers and has a bunch of numbers. Numbers don't mean anything. It matters on if you do a live and people come in and they engage with you. Engaging, interaction, all that is most important. And believe it or not, I know a lot of these casting directors and a lot of these agents, these publicists, managers, studio owners. I deal with a lot of them. And nowadays, it's not necessarily about your talent. If you have somebody that's got a lot of talent and another somebody that has a lot of talent, guess who's going to get the job?
The one with followers,
with more influence, with someone that's going to be able to make that, that project money. And the third thing is product knowledge. Study your craft, man. I mean, I'm an actor. I've been on Amazon. I've been on a lot of projects. I was actually the face of Axe body spray. If you Google Axe limo, Eric Zuley, I did Super Bowl commercials, and I've done a lot of things in my life in the entertainment field. But the biggest reason that I booked jobs when I did it is because I really, truly did my research on the role. And I think like I put myself in the shoes and I turned into the character. And you also need to stand out. If you're talking about like casting, when you're actually going for an audition, if you stand out above the cattle call, then most likely that you're going to stand out. They're going to look at you more. You're going to, you have to do something. You have to be memorable. They have to remember you. And if they remember you, most likely you're going to get a call back. And I think 2 times in my life, I didn't even have to do a callback. They were just like, you know what, you're it. It's done. I love this guy. And so it's your product now, just like sales. It's doing your research. It's, if you're going to do a role, look at other people that are similar roles and study those actors and that style. If you have to do a role where you have to be sad, you have to think like somebody died in your life, like you have to be that role. And the more that you stand out, the more that I think you're going to book. I can go on and on, but I'm going to shut up now.
No, I just want to say for acting, for anybody who wants to get into it, I mean, I really think that training is important. I've taken a lot of even with commercials, I've taken a lot of commercial acting classes. You have to learn your skill. You can't just get up there and, think you're an actor. It takes a lot of work. I started taking acting classes when I was like 15 years old. And again, improv is a great thing to take too, especially for, if you're doing social media videos or anything. I took a lot of improv classes. Those are a lot of fun to take.
And if I'm wearing the producer hat now I'm going to take my actor hat off. I'm going to put my producer hat on. A producer is going to look for social media following for one, but at the same time, what I look for is how dedicated are you to wanting your goals and dreams? How much do you want it? How hungry are you? What are you really doing on social media? Because the reality of it is, if you want to make your goals and dreams happen, social media, the internet will give you any tool that you need to do that. But how dedicated are you? Do you just want it handed to you? Or are you willing to do anything whatever it takes? Are you willing to knock on every door? Are you willing to bug me? I like to be bugged. I mean, don't bug me, but I you know what I mean? I like to be I like to see that you really, really, really want it. And I'll tell you, Brian, I have done this many times. I've done contests. I've done interviews where I've actually, you've seen this. I've actually done interviews where people would be chatting and they'd be so eager and they'd be chatting and like interacting so much. I'm like, man, I appreciate you. You have literally been engaging this entire show, and I'll bring them on the show and I'll introduce them to like one of the more mogul level producers that we deal with, because they were hungry. They were eager. I would say action takers are money makers. Seize your opportunity and do everything you can when you get that opportunity. Same thing with networking. Like some people are like afraid to, do certain things or ask for the phone number or take a picture and, oh my God, stop thinking, get out of your head, because how do you know you're going to get another opportunity to be next to that person? If you look
exactly
at all the pictures and videos and things that I've done, it's because, I don't necessarily know all of these stars. I know a lot of them. They're my friends, but I don't know them all. But if you see a selfie or you see me doing an interview, it's because I'll dive under the red carpet and just do it with a celebrity. Just seize the opportunity when you have the opportunity.
Howard, talk about what room you are in, what you're wearing, and what your projects you're working on right now, because that's most important.
I'm in the guest bedroom, and I got a new hat, so just for the show today. And I've got my pearls on for you, Brian. So that's something I like to do. I'm working on Who's Going to Take Care of Me, which is a movie that's coming out in Hollywood that I should be doing pretty soon. I casted that. Marlene Linfield is a very good friend of mine. I've been helping with that project. I didn't know you were in that. Yeah, played the part of the emergency room doctor. I'm the priest. I haven't got my part yet. I casted Catherine Coven Pacino, Retha Gray from Betty White South the Rockers, Johnny Vinokur, and like 3 other people. Yeah. Paul Williams. Wow. Did you do Paul Williams? No, I didn't do Paul Williams. Okay. But small world. Yeah. And Marvin Gaye's niece, he's the one that's in it. So I'm looking forward to that. That's why you seem familiar to me. I was like, why does this guy seem familiar? Yeah. But, everywhere I go, people treat me like a star, and I'm like, I'm not a star. They just remember me. And of course, I do like to dress, and that's probably part of it. But even if I'm not dressed, they still do. I don't know why. I just have that. So because you're seizing that opportunity, you're being memorable. If I watch the show, out of everybody on here, no offense to everybody else, but like you're the best dressed. I'm gonna remember the hat. You look clean cut. Your beard's shaved. Like you're doing it right in front of the camera. It's just who I am. I was real good friends with Dolly Parton growing up, and the one thing I know, you can't be what you're not. And this is who I am. This is who I've always been. I had 250 shirts when I was 16 years old.
Wow.
So dressing to me is I do it all the time. Even at work, I do it. So,
I was given 20 suits by Tudo Italy when I was talking about sponsorship. When I used to hit the carpet, 20 suits. These suits are probably about $400 to $1,000 a piece. I'm talking about 3-piece suits, gold cufflinks, like nice stuff. I still have them in my closet. Some of them are not tailored to me anymore. But literally, I was given 20 suits. So I want to give a shout out to Tudo Italy.
What size are they?
What?
What size are you? What size are those suits?
I'm a 44 long, sports coat, and I've lost a little bit of weight now, so I'm not. I gotta get them tailored, but they're still sitting in my closet.
Yeah, my whole thing is I'm a 38 regular. I can just go right to the store and put on anything and it works. I mean, I just perfect fit without doing anything. So,
hey, we got about 5 minutes coming up left. Nancy, talk about this. Why should people pre-order your book? How can they find it? And what makes you unique?
Well, what makes me unique is that I have grown up with stories about my great-grandparents all my life. I lived in a house that's full of things that were theirs. I eat on my great-grandmother's silver. I've got my grandmother's engagement ring on. They're just, even when they passed, they were always a presence in my life. And it's as if they were talking through me and writing this book. And I feel like that makes me particularly makes me different in that I don't really know anyone else who lives with the things that I do that came from them, that emanate their presence, and that they're part of me, and this book is part of me. It's not, when I say it's a thing, it's not a thing over there, it's a thing right here, and it came from me through them, or through me from them, I should say. And I think that gives it a richness that can be lacking in writing. And you will be able to find me. The book is not ready to be pre-ordered yet. Nancy Potter Author on Facebook and Instagram, Nancy Potter Author. And my website will soon be out, and it is the same, nancypotterauthor.com. And we're kind of still working on that. But I think you'll find the whole feeling of it and the vibe of it is different and very rich. And I know that you're going to love it.
Don't be afraid to reach out to Eric on that. All right, Eric, talk about the film festival real quick, and then we'll get one last go around on everybody's social media outlets.
Oh man, I'm excited about so you see behind me, guys, you see right here, we do this thing called the pitch party on Zoom. We got 50 to 150 people to show up. We give everybody a chance to have a 30-second commercial pretty much. And it's gotten really popular. We've had over 50 celebrities, Judge Joe Brown, Eric Roberts, just major celebrities that have come on and have been a part of it. And it's really growing a lot. So because it's growing so much, we're now doing spin-offs of the pitch parties. So we're going to do Easy Way film pitch parties. We're going to do fashion. We're going to do all these different pitch parties. So you and me, Brian, we're gonna put our skills together to basically give people the opportunity to get out there on a big platform, because our platform works with distribution with Tubi and Netflix and We do some things so people will be able to submit their films on Zoom from the comfort of their own home and take their product, their podcast, their film, whatever, to the next level. And
cool.
We're talking to you, Brian, about potentially being one of the leaders on that. And being on the board basically for that event. So, hey, if anybody wants to join us March 30th, you can get a little taste of what we're talking about. And I think in probably June or July, we'll be doing this big film festival on Zoom.
Wow.
We got a pitch party for authors.
We're doing that as well. We're talking to a couple, because basically there's only so many balls I can juggle.
Oh, come on.
I need to find the right leaders that can run these projects. But we're going to do one for authors and books. We're going to do one for films. We're going to do one for podcasts, especially one for events and speakers. So my goal is to really do 10 a month. and have about 100 per Zoom. So anybody out there want to share? Press the share button. That would help.
So
All right, Howard. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I have an idea for a podcast. So that'd be a good place for me to pitch it, even if I haven't done it yet. Or okay, then I need to talk to you about it because I've got some stuff I want to do about mental health and fitness, and stuff that's something people are afraid to talk about.
Well, let's get you on the Dr. Fitness USA show that we have on our network, and they already have a podcast with us, and we can kind of piggyback off of that, And
okay, great. Okay, we'll talk later.
Let's do it.
All right, Terry, give your social media links real quick. Go ahead.
So my social media is Terry Marie Nonstop on all platforms, and on TikTok I do my dancing. I do my 80s and 90s rocker chick dancing stuff. That's more of like for fun. And then my Instagram, which has got my red carpet stuff, and so TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook,
Howard?
and Twitter.
Howard Wiggins Facebook, and Brian, show that dance video for me.
I'm going to show it next week because I have a special reason why to show it next week.
All right.
Rachel?
Rachel Roberts Recipes. You can, that's how you find me anywhere. And in the morning, you can watch me doing coffee talk.
Nancy, one more time.
There's a lot more coming up. What?
And Nancy?
Nancy Potter, author across the board, and my website will be up shortly. I hope you'll visit it.
Eric, you get the last word. Go for it real quick.
Thanks, Brian. I mean, guys, easywaypromotions.com if you need any promotions or brand development, and just text Easyway, letter E, letter Z, WAY, to the number 55678 if you're local, or if you see right there, it says easywayi.com. That's a new social network that we're building right now with some pretty incredible people. But the best thing is just see right there, Eric Zuley, just Google that. A bunch of stuff comes up.
And with that, I want to thank everybody for putting on. Thank you so much, Nancy. I'll be calling you later, everybody. And I always say this, have a good night tonight, a better day tomorrow. You see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours because the world needs it. And I love when Howard does his heart. I love that because the world needs it, doesn't it, Eric? And with that, I'm Brian Sebastian, movie reviews and more, and we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.